Hey everybody, this is Elina Svitolina from Ukraine, really France, because her and her husband live in France, got a long face, rejoicing in her victory over Mirra Andreeva from Russia, who I believe actually lives in Florida, 6-2, 6-4. And it was a contest that saw the 18-year-old Mirra Andreeva behave, well, more like she was 14, because there is another 18-year-older, Eva Jovic, who's rising up the rankings of the WTA and not known at all for the kind of outbursts that Mirra Andreeva has become famous for in her short time in the elite ranks of tennis. The upset special was this one. Everyone expected, except me and a few others, for like Monfils, for Mirra Andreeva to beat Elina Svitolina. But no, Elina had what Chrissy ever described was a steely calm about her. I believe it was, I don't know who the other announcer was. Maybe it was, I'll find out who it was later, but this person referred to her as a stone cold killer. Stone cold killer. And she was, because it was almost as if she gained power and fuel every time Mirra yelled out an expletive in Russian or yelled out in anger because she made a mistake, a fault, or an error. And Miss Svitolina just seemed to draw more energy from it. Never losing her cool, not even once. Not once. And when it was over, what she did was, well, she did this. Now, a number of people at the match rather, saw Mirra Andreeva walk off and started booing her. Well, that wasn't necessary, because being from Russia, with Elina being from the Ukraine, it's widely accepted that Miss Svitolina for now years has refused to shake hands with any Russian player. There are a number of players who were Russian who are no longer that. One of them, Anya Sabalenka, who switched countries because of the Russian atrocities against Ukraine. So if you're saying politics has no business in sports, well, there are a number of people who disagree with you, but that's another story. The story is this: Mirra needs to figure out a way to calm down. I think, what would that be? Maybe, I think just weight training as therapy, so she can get stronger. Because what's going on is that somewhere in here, she still has this little girl in her that wants what she wants and doesn't understand when she doesn't get it. And she has to understand what it means to climb out of a ditch and scratch and crawl for a win when she thinks it's not going to happen. She gets it into her mind with one fault that, you know what, this isn't my day. When in point of fact, it's just literally based on an error she has to fix. That's it. It's nothing more than that. But in her mind, she's basically, what she's doing. In her mind, she's failing, and that's it. What she's doing is, I think, best described by Denver Broncos punter Jim Turner in Super Bowl 12 in describing the Broncos' loss to the victorious Cowboys 27-10. Turner said, "We were out there thinking about winning, and they were out there thinking about football. And the man doing all the thinking was Tom Landry. They had a game plan, and the game plan for the game plan and everything else. Mirra has to have a game plan, and then a game plan for when things go wrong. And then she's got to stick to her game plan. She has to let it be her guide. And she has to, even if she has to, if it's possible and not against the rules to do so, tape it to her wrist in some kind of way, just as a reminder. Because she's an incredible talent when the skies are clear, when all is going her way. She can be an absolute monster. But the one moment she faces a better player and things don't go well, or a player she believes she should beat, or anything, whenever something goes wrong, she doesn't climb out of it. She's got to climb out of it. And she'll realize more money and a happier life. She won't be so down on herself. There's nothing wrong with her. I think the other part of it is somewhere deep down inside, she's got to prove that she's worthy to herself. And she's got to get that out of her head and just enjoy playing tennis, That's what I see. Now, Elina takes on my favorite tennis player on the female side, Coco Gauff. And that's going to be really interesting. Coco beat Mirra Andreeva, you probably saw that earlier, in a contest that shouldn't have went along as long as it did. But it did because of Coco's errors, and she'll admit to that. But she did what Mirra Andreeva needs to learn to do. Collect herself, stay to the plan, and then execute the plan. That's what Coco does. She gets off a little, she's sometimes gets in this position where she raises her left leg, right? And then balances on her right leg and tries to hit a return. And then, of course, what does it do is it goes out of the court. Mirra really has to get it under control. For example, this was the scene that everyone was talking about that probably has got you here. You're thinking, are you going to show it? And the answer is, yeah, I'm going to. I don't want a copyright claim, so I got to be careful how I show it. But I'm going to show it. And it is when Mirra basically threw her racket to the ground, okay? And just in an absolute fit. There's no other way to describe it than that. She just threw an absolute fit. Went off the rails and it was all downhill from there. It really was. It was, and if she had collected herself during what I'm about to show you, she could have got a nice return out of it. She really could have. But she was too rushed. She was, as usual, thinking about winning before, executing, and made the mistake. She was excited. I've been there before. I played tennis, not to that level, of course, but you think you've got the right approach. You think you've got the right answer. You think you've got the right shot, and you just get excited. Your whole body is just pumping blood, and you can't wait to execute this neat kind of return that's in your mind is going to work. And then you're so excited, you get to it, and guess what? You, in my case, missed the entire ball. Yeah. In her case, this is what she does right here, okay? She's just gesturing like she's counting the number of times these faults have happened, which I believe she's either counting it or just exclaiming she's tired. She's just tired. And she's yelling to her box. All right? And then prior to that, what she did was this. Okay? I will show you. Right here. She, see that in the air there? That's her racket. And there's Svitolina watching. She just tossed it, just like, I've had it. Clush. She's had it. Just let it, there. See that? See that? Took it, And then, you know, boom, 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 boom. Not so slowly, but she did do that thing. She eventually let it go. And then said, okay. And then just lost it. Just lost it. No other way to put it but that. She just lost it. Okay? It's like a negative point, but at that point, who cares? Okay? And what's interesting about this program was that they were just waiting for her. It seems like the announcers were just waiting for Mirra to have her next outburst. Waiting for her. They were literally betting on the next moment she would lose her cool. And when it gets to that point, that's when everybody in the doggone world knows you've got a problem and they've got you pegged. That means every opponent has got you pegged, and every opponent is just waiting to get you on court because they know your weaknesses, they know which button to push in you. And that is where Mirra Andreeva is. She's got a big friggin' button on her back, and all of her opponents just push it. Bzz, bzz, bzz. They push it by giving her shots she doesn't like. They push it by playing efficiently, and they most push it by not losing their temper. Okay, they've got that young lady pegged, but the minute she steals herself, that button on her back will melt off, and one day she will win Wimbledon. I guarantee it. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark ZennyReport.com. Thanks.